Well, last chapter. Joey was trying to do something good for the world, but was running with scissors and snipped off the end of Maria Dombrowski's nose. Oh, Joey. Chapter 8 is called Suspended. It's one thing for him to hurt himself, Mrs. Jarzab said to my mother, pushing a flowered box of Kleenex toward her. Mom plucked a few out. She changed the color of her fingernails, and they were so bright red, her fingertips looked like mine when they were covered with wet blood while I was trying to fix Maria's nose. We were sitting in the principal's office. I'd been there since Mrs. Jarzab pulled me out of class. My mom had been called in from the beauty parlor, and she was still wearing the white smock with her name, Fran, embroidered on the front. She borrowed a car and got there so fast Maria had just left in the ambulance, and Mom was still breathing heavily as she wiped away the lines of sweat around her neck. "I'm sure it was just an accident," my mother replied, and set the wad of damp Kleenex on the edge of the desk. "Kids will be kids. Things like this happen." Mrs. Jarzab pulled a Kleenex out of the box and used it to pick up Mom's, like she was picking up something filthy. Then she tossed it in the trash can. "There are special circumstances in this case," Mrs. Jarzab insisted, and tapped on the top of my file. "Joey has a history of being harmful to himself and to others." "I know his history," Mom said. "I'm his mother. Nobody knows him better than me. And even though there have been some problems in the past, they are all accidental. Joey is a good kid. He is not a mean child." She was sweating down the side of her face as if she was in trouble for what had happened to Maria. "I don't disagree that it was an accident," Mrs. Jarzab replied. "What alarms me is the number of accidents that Joey is responsible for." She opened my file. "Let me cite what all happened this school year alone." "Just skip it," my mom said, sounding a little angry, like when people at work tick her off. "Well, keep in mind we have informed you of his behavior in the past." I started to ask Mom if she had any meds, but she patted me on the leg. "Let's just listen for now," she whispered. "And the last time I warned you," Mrs. Jarzab continued, "that if we didn't have the resources to help Joey here, that we would have to consider intensive counseling at a special center downtown, where he would receive the attention he needs." "I'm aware of all this," Mom said, but it was news to me. "What special center?" I said suddenly. "What?" "Honey," Mom interrupted, "just listen for a minute while I do the talking." Mrs. Jarzab had already put away the Kleenex, and Mom reached for her own purse. When she unsnapped it, I could smell the makeup and lipstick and perfume, especially the perfume, and I wanted to leap onto her lap and bury my head against her neck, where she always put a dab of something extra nice, and when I smelled it, I just imagined following it to a safe, soft, warm mom place that would protect me from everything bad, and I could protect her. "Joey," Mom said. "Joey." She gave me a quick little pinch on my thigh, and I snapped out of it. "Yeah," I said real sleepy, like I just woke up and wanted to go back to sleep. "What?" "Mrs. Jarzab wants you to tell your side of the story." "What story?" I asked, kind of desperate, because I suddenly realized that they had been talking for a while, and I had no idea what they were saying. "Tell her," Mom said gently this time, because she knew I had drifted far away. "About the scissors." "Yes, tell me, Joey," Mrs. Jarzab said, with her face all nice and soft, like there was nothing in the world she wanted to hear about me. There was nothing in the world she wanted to hear more about than me and the scissors. So I told her. I was making bumper stickers for me and my mom to change the world. And my safety scissors were too small for the paper, so I got Mrs. Maxey's out of her teacher drawer and was running when Maria jumped in front of me, and when I tripped over my slipper ear. I fell forward, and after I got up, everyone said I had cut off her nose tip. When I finished, Mom was looking into her lap, and Mrs. Jarzab was writing furiously on a pad. Then she stopped writing and looked up. "Keep him at home tomorrow. The district special education bus will pick him up the day after. We need a day for the paperwork to go through." "Okay," Mom said, "but this is temporary, right?" "Because he has injured another student, he has to be suspended for 6 weeks and receive mandatory counseling. That is school policy. But given Joey's record, he was bound to end up at the center anyway. So maybe this is a blessing in disguise. What happens now is all up to him." We left the office and no one said any more. All the way out to the car, I kept staring at the ground to see if I could spot Maria's blood drops Or maybe she lost the tip of her nose and I thought if I could find it and they would forgive me and I wouldn't be in so much trouble. For 1 second I thought I saw it and I reached down and snatched up a little flesh-colored round thing, but it was just a used round Band-Aid. My mother slapped it out of my hand, and that was the first moment I realized she was mad at me too. And suddenly it was as if my heart was as uncontrollable as my legs. All this time I thought she was on my side because I was on her side, but maybe she had given up on me too. So I didn't say anything more because I was scared she was going to be against me like everyone else. We drove away in silence. Not until we entered the Burger King drive-thru did Mom speak again. She ordered for both of us without asking me what I wanted. And when we got the food from the side window, Mom just pulled around the corner and parked on the side street under a shade tree. "I want to talk to you," she said as she handed out the food. "I've done my best," she said. "Do you understand that?" "Yeah," I replied. "I know it's all me. I'm the one that's messed up, not you." I started eating my French fries. First the bottom end, then the top. I put the middle to one side. The middles don't crunch when I bite into them, so I save them for last, like a vegetable. "You're not stupid and you're not messed up," Mom said. "Don't think that." "Everybody else does," I said, not looking at her face. "They call me brain damaged or zippy or pinhead." She just held a wad of napkins to her eyes and her shoulders hunched forward, and I knew she was crying because I had seen her trying to hide it from me a million times before. "I pulled it together for you," she finally said and wiped her nose. "When you were a baby, I screwed up and left you behind, but I loved you so much I pulled it together and I came back to you. Now you have to pull it together for me," she said. "It's your turn. You owe me that much. You owe yourself, because if you don't pull it together now, I don't know what will happen. It's bound to get worse, way worse than anything that has ever happened to you." I knew she was right. "I'll have to go to a scary special ed school?" I finally said, already crying by the time my face sunk into her shoulder. "Just for a while," she said, and rubbed my neck. "Soon they'll see what a good guy you are and send you back." So what do you think? He's going to go to a different school for a little while so they can help him. Do you think he'll be able to go back to his regular school? We'll see.